Well, last night, Americans waited to hear who the next president was going to be. In the end, Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton with 289 electoral votes to 218, wiping out many majority of the states with red, many swing states going to Trump's favor. Now, despite the outcome, many people are asking the questions, what is this new president going to do for America, as well as what does last night's election results actually mean? We're pleased to be joined in studio by none other than our political commentator, J.C. Polanco, who makes good sense of this. Now, J.C., let's go here for a minute. We remember we had this conversation a long time ago. Never Trump. We thought this was a joke. It would end in 6 months. It is now translated with Donald Trump elected the president of the United States. What happened last night?
I'm in shock still, to be honest. I think the polls were all wrong across the country. No one could predict this. I mean, not one real newspaper supported Donald Trump. I mean, every single poll had him losing last night. It's a shocker. I mean, I didn't expect this at all. I think what happened here yesterday was that something you mentioned a couple weeks ago, which was the silent Trump supporter. I guess there were that many. Mm-hmm. There were many silent Trump supporters that didn't show up in the polls that showed up yesterday and casted their votes for Donald Trump. I mean, it wasn't even close. We're looking at states that haven't gone Republican since 1984, some since 1980. And one since 1976 actually became a red state yesterday because of Donald Trump. I think a combination of things. First, you had a lot of white voters came out to vote. A lot of white voters without college degrees came out to support Donald Trump. Those numbers, we never thought were going to be as many as they were. And quite frankly, the African-American community did not come out in the same numbers that they came out under President Barack Obama. And interestingly, the Latino vote was higher for Donald Trump than it was for Mitt Romney. You're looking at the perfect storm for Donald Trump to win the election. And what's interesting is Hillary may still win the popular vote, but the Electoral College was overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. And
we've seen that happen before, but in addition to that, both the House and the Senate now go to the Republican Party. The question on the minds of many is, with the Republicans really running the table right now, how much is there an indebtedness on the part of the Republican Party now to Donald Trump? And when it comes to Trump's agendas, really being able to move Trump's agendas forward, given the fact that he might be able to say, listen, I got you here.
I think that there's going to be many hours of discussion with Donald Trump before any of the agendas are really put in place. I think it's going to be tough for Donald Trump to get a lot of the things he promised through Congress. I mean, things like
even with the Republican.
And you know what? I think there are going to be some people that are going to pay the price for being never Trump. I know I was never Trump. I'm proud at the very end. I'm still never Trump. I'm hoping that he's successful. I know a lot of us that are in the Never Trump movement are praying that he's successful, becomes a little more humble, and changes his ways and apologizes. I think that there are a lot of people in Congress, however, they're going to pay the price. I do think a lot of Congress members are going to revolt against Paul Ryan for disappearing in the last couple of weeks. And there are a lot of other Republican governors across the state, U.S. senators like Ben Sasse, who did not support Donald Trump. I think you may start seeing some primaries and people getting upset. But quite frankly, I think that some of the plans that Donald Trump put in to the agenda for his campaign are impossible. And that's why I think that the well-learned Republicans in the Congress are going to ask him not to put it through or maybe change it a little bit. It's going to be very tough.
Let's talk Hillary Clinton for a minute. A lot of people still saying that the emails, really the latest coming out with FBI Director James Comey, saying that there was these new allegations of emails, that really served as a detriment and a swing for Donald Trump. Agree, disagree?
I agree. I've been saying this. You guys could go to BronxNet.com, check it out. I've been saying, look, this email stuff is serious business. You cannot have a private server in your house and then email back and forth classified information and then tell the whole world that you never did it, then get caught, and then get a subpoena by Congress, and then go and delete 33,000 emails and destroy 13 BlackBerries with hammers. Look, the whole country saw it. I know that the hardcore Democrats were like, who cares that she did that? Well, obviously, 289 electoral votes yesterday cared that this was going down because she seems corrupt.
Yeah, but this was talked about originally. But then we know the second set of emails with James Comey coming out and making that announcement right before election time. This is what Democrats are saying was a possible swing in turning things around. Agree, disagree?
Oh, no, I disagree with that because think about it. It's a landslide in the Electoral College. Those votes didn't just flip from 1 minute to the next.
But they happened during the time of early voting. Let's keep that in mind.
No, the early voting had happened already. Remember, that was the scandal, that a lot of early voting had happened before Comey's letter. So what about all those people that wanted to change their minds? That's why Donald Trump made it a point to tell everyone that had voted for Hillary in the early voting that if they wanted to change their minds, many states allowed it. So I think the Democrats cannot hold on to that. I think the Democrats should blame themselves for nominating someone who had so much baggage. I mean, she was rejected in '08. She was going to get rejected again. I thought that she was going to win last night. But my goodness, you cannot have marketed this woman and branded her more corrupt than Donald Trump did. And then look at the facts. Look at the email scandal. That's a huge deal. And then when people started studying the Clinton Foundation, you gave people a reason not to vote for her. And I think that's what you saw yesterday. I think people just came and said, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. And Republicans that were never Trump came home. Now over 90% of Republicans voted for Donald Trump. So look, Donald Trump is going to have an electoral college mandate. I think it's important for Democrats across the country to realize this, and we have to, accept that Donald Trump won the presidency.
It's water under the bridge. It's water under the bridge right now. But I mean, I've made this comment before. Hillary Clinton possibly could be sitting or heading towards the White House if she allowed Bernie Sanders to be her running mate. True.
Well, that's a good point, but I think the emails scandal was just too much. It was. Look, I think Democrats are going to sit back and say, why did we do that? Did we really nominate someone that was under FBI investigation? Yes, you did. And this is what happened. Unfortunately, I think for a lot of those Democrats that worked very hard for the last 8 years, a lot of the legacy that they banked on with President Obama is gone out the window with President Trump. And I'm talking about all of those executive orders. I know your viewers know a little bit about social studies, at least, and they know very well that these executive orders have the power of the law. And unfortunately for President Obama, the executive orders can be completely reversed by the new sitting president without any act by Congress. So yes, you're looking at DACA, and you're looking at DAPA, and you're looking at all of these plans that President Obama had put into place with these executive orders that are gone within the first 100 days. This is a big deal. And watch out with Obamacare. I mean, a lot of people depending on Obamacare in the Bronx. There's going to be a whole new plan. I don't know what that plan is. He didn't tell us what it was going to be. But I know that with a Republican House, a Republican Senate, a Republican White House, you may be looking at the end of Obamacare as you know it.
What about middle of the road? Because some people are saying that he's elected now. There's obviously some bridge building that has to be done. There's some work that's to be done. On one side, you have people who say, look, America wants change, and he's elected to create sweeping change. But then you have on the other side, Democrats who are saying, okay, you got elected, but you're still going to have to work with us, and you might have to come a little bit towards the middle. Are we going to see more towards the middle, or are we just going to see that sweeping change based on what we saw last night with the majority of the map red?
Well, as a moderate, I'd hope that'd be the case, but I don't think so. I think, look, he looks at the map, and he won heavily across the country.
Oh, it's landslide.
And look, 32 governors out of 50 are Republicans today. We have the House and the Senate. Why would he want to compromise? Everything he said he was going to do got him elected. And now he's about to put his agenda into place. I don't see how some of the extreme things he talked about are going to get done. I think there are going to be some things like some sort of wall in the southern border, and it may not be paid directly by Mexico with a check from Mexico, but perhaps it's going to be paid through some sort of balance of trade readjustments. So I think you're going to see some interesting things happen, and I think Obamacare is gone. I think that the wall is going to go up, and I do think that there's going to be some major reversals on many of those executive orders that President Obama put in place. Look, and I have to tell you, I told your viewers this before, some of the things President Obama signed as executive orders were really unconstitutional, and they were ruled as such. And the reason I think he did it is that he had a Congress that wouldn't work with him. I'm going to be very clear. It seemed as if every time he came up with an idea, we wouldn't even consider it. And that forced the president's hand to at least test the constitutional waters with a lot of these executive orders. And I think you're going to see many of them reversed in the first 100 days.
And now you see, but also now we see, and I need a quick answer here, political insiders saying now that you have a Republican House and Senate, you move this agenda forward. A lot more things will be passed in moving forward.
Yeah, a lot more things. Gridlock is gone, and I just hope that they're good policies, and I hope that the president-elect, when he becomes president, does a good job. And I do think that, honestly, and this is important for your viewers, especially us here in the Bronx, I do think that the president-elect needs to come and apologize and say the campaign is over. He's hurt some feelings, and he apologizes directly to these people, and that he's a different person so that we can unite the country. I mean, you thought the campaign was tough. Imagine uniting the country for the next 4 years. That's hard work. That's a 4-year plan. So I hope he does it right.
JC Polanco is here with us, and normally you see Dominic Carter, who is here with us, along with JC, but Dominic is out in the field as Hillary Clinton, as of this time, is getting ready to give her concession speech, and so Dominic is out reporting for his news station, the concession speech, and bringing us reaction. Hopefully he will join us next week to sit alongside JC, and he'll come back and say, he told us so.
That's right.
There's a real possibility. So listen, don't go anywhere. We got more. We're staying on this topic. We'll be right back in just a few moments.